Gremlins, then they're going to be even more of a force to be reckoned with. And it's a pretty potent weapon already, isn't it, that factory GSXR? No great surprise there, perhaps.
Here is Jorge Martin, of course, a rookie in the class, Pramac Ducati rider. Towards the end of the season, I suppose you would expectated. Yeah, he's class.
He's a trier as well. Yeah, look at that, the top speed record. A rookie, Jorge Martin, on his first in Qatar. Jorge Martin, 354 kilometres. He blitzed through the speed trap. The Ducati was incredible. 2 miles an hour. Will we get a new official MotoGP top speed here? I think that was Andrea Dovizioso.
Yeah, the thing is, Matt, it just rolls off the tongue. These days in MotoGP, we talk about this like it's just bread and butter, and I suppose these were
221 miles an hour nearly set by Jorge Martin, and as we mentioned, that horsepower is going to be crucial. Liz carries out yet another practice start. We've seen that umpteen times already. Let's quickly pop down before the session
3 when everyone's just fighting to get into Q2. I can feel it right now, and I imagine because of the soft and rear softs going out the pit lane, I think the fireworks is going to go off in this one.
Yeah, thanks for that, Simon. It's a very test, but now this means something, and so the eyes are out. Everybody means business. These guys now, with limited tested
at turn 6 this morning, it looked like he just did get in a little bit wide on the brakes going into turn 6, and we've seen it so often here down the years in catch. Fingers crossed, everything crossed, that his main man Marc Marquez will be back in action April the 18th. Portimao, the Algos medical check for Marc Marquez on that recovering right humerus bone, which he first injured a long time ago now in Jerez 1 back in June. Will be his next medical check, and it will be then decided if he's fit to turn up and race in round 3.
I can't wait. It's so cute how he gets back on, but Marc Marquez isn't coming back to finish in 11th or 12th.
No, he's not coming back to ride around. I'm hearing from inside Honda he's apps biking, and the next day he was mini biking, and then we've seen him on the production RC213 VS in both Barcelona and Portimao, but for his COVID vaccination, and he said convinced when they were at a little chat that Marc was going to be riding here. So he's got
to telling Marc to stay at home for 2 races. Yeah. Let's be honest. Yeah. His old foe Valentino Rossi out on circuit. Valentino actually blitzed that, so wouldn't pay too much attention to the left of your screen for now. Still not 100% sure what happened to this evening.
Yeah, that is good news, because it's a fast old tumble at turn 1. Aleix Espargaro's got straight down to business. These cooler conditions, as we mentioned earlier, can he be an independent team rider world champion? It has not happened for a long time in the Premier Class. It was not changed. Maverick Vinales, Pecco Bagnaia and Miguel Oliveira, they also did not opt to change for new rubber towards the back end of the 54s very quickly here tonight, aren't we? The only man that managed it earlier on was Franco Morbidelli, a 54.921. Predictions cooler, a bit more grip laid down as well, a bit more rubber laid down. Yeah, the times are tumbling already. Miller, 54.57.
Going over, in case you haven't seen the news since last year, there is no margin for error in 2021. An upgraded system race direction. They're not relying on cameras. They don't have to make any judgment. It's there for all to see, which is far fairer. Oh, we've got a red flag now.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah. We've only had, what, 7.5 minutes of this second practice session, and just when the lap times already were starting to plummet.
Perhaps Simon can find out. Oh, that's the reason why. There's debris on the circuit here on the start-finish straight. Now, what is that?
Due to track conditions, that is on the start-finish straight, where these boys are hauling at 220 miles an hour. So, I'm not actually sure. I mean, Franco Morbidelli looks as puzzled and perplexed as what we are here in the commentary box. Calls this stoppage.
Well, the good thing is it's been spotted, and the red flags are out now before anything nasty happened, because Maverick Vinales, 6th in this session so far.
The Vinales tactic seems pretty well set, doesn't it? 21. So a slight disruption to the start of this session.
This is not because of a crash. There's something on the circuit at this moment in time which we're trying to figure out. It doesn't look like it's anything from a motor. It looks like some wood or something on the circuit.
There's a lot of debris scattered around, isn't there?
From a tower or something, Simon, ahead of Bagnaia. His teammate, Aleix Espargaro, Rin Zarco, Vinales, Mir, Rossi.
Espargaro's second quickest in FP1, and straight away in the evening session he's gone out there and fired himself immediately.
A Honda rider who had his best season in MotoGP last year. Of course, pole position in Aragon, a crash here this year, as we look here at Lorenzo Savadori. What about the chances of Pramac Ducati this year, of course? I'm sure that Johan Zarco and the rookie Jorge Martin. Simon's got Francesco with him now.
Chief as well there, saying, yeah, we'll continue Certainly a good start for the factory Ducati team. Jack Miller and this man, Pecco Bagnaia, currently sitting 1 and 2, 5, and there he is. The reigning world champion. What a year it was in 2020 for Joan Mir, the 7th youngest rider to win this TV this weekend. Jorge Lorenzo and a certain Marc Marquez. So congratulations again to Joan Mir, the 20th.
It's another practice start at the end of pit lane. That's the big question as the world champion then exits pit lane. Yes, he will.
It's under his belt, because this is just routine now for Maverick Vinales. Every single pit exit, that's what he does. Maverick Vinales, certainly when the lights go out here on a Sunday night for the much anticipated season opener.
Here comes Akhirnya. Top 6 finishes. We don't need to get carried away. They're not looking to necessarily, I mean, they'd love to be on the podium.
Back in 2015, the same year as the factory Suzuki team, Suzuki have been brilliant. They've grown and grown, progressed and progressed, and now they are. KTM, a race-winning package last year. You've got to say it's time now for Aprilia to deliver. They've got to really make that step. It's quite amazing, actually, Aprilia. They've only ever had 5 top 6 finishes. That's it.
No, and the last of them for Aleix Espargaro came in Aragon 2018.
Yeah, and we do know how much Aleix and the Aprilia tend to...
As we ride with Maverick Vinales, you get the feeling, Matt, that we're not really going to know what sort of Ducati is joined. Oh, blimey, buckaroo for number 63, Bagnaia.
Yeah, slightly lively there for Pecco, coming out of turn last year, was Stevie. They always seem to have a rider fighting for the win or the podium, but in terms of the right there, next week it was Pecco, next week it was this man, Jack Miller, on occasion Zarco was up there, but they never had anybody.
With a 54.5 is to try and put that together. I mean, at the end of last year, it was looking far more solid.
Yep. Ain't like he's finished the last couple of seasons. Well, Jack Miller will be a strong favourite here on Sunday night, and particularly as well
here in Qatar, but it's not the case. It's handling extremely well at the moment, that Aprilia. In fact, in the speed charts, Aleix Espargaro's down in
whitewash. They've got the top 8 speeds at the moment, Ducati and KTM. KTM last year, they 3, 7, 8, 9.
That's a great time.
Espargaro goes 8/10 of a second almost clear of the chasing pack.
It's not just the handling, like you guys were saying. Yeah, you're right. But Aleix and the team was saying...
Much worse could it from last year. It's good that they've sussed that one out. Across the board, the Aprilia looks like the bike that Aleix
Espargaro spot into Q2. Alex Rins, who's not really renowned as a great qualifier, is he? Front rows and pole position.
To try and hedge bets, and it's so easy to be hasty. But if this Aprilia really was offered to about 6 or 7 people.
We said yesterday, didn't we, that Aprilia went fishing in Moto2 at the back end of last year, but nobody... Look at KTM. This time last year, Steve, coming into the season, nobody really was thinking, do you know what, KTM are going to win a couple of Grands in the future. And, you know, the Aprilia, it makes it certainly a more marketable motorcycle and a bit of an easier sell than perhaps what...
Near in 8th place overall. So he would have a place in Q2 if the checkered flag were to come out now. Morbidelli
in the top speed charts is Franco Morbidelli, and that will be a concern. The start-finish straight here in Losail, that kind of speed differential. And you'd imagine if Franco Morbidelli is leading, of course, would you want to be coming out the final?
They're giving up 11-12k on Ducatis at the end of the start-finish straight right now. There is Massimo on a decent first sector.
Performances like this, Steve, if they carry on before April the 12th, testing the factory Aprilia for 3 days in the Jerez test. Quite interesting, actually. He has got other clients, but I did see some pounced on him to find out exactly what was going on. Is Dobby going to be looking at a full-time return at some point? No great surprise to see our colleagues do.
Absolutely no disrespect meant to Lorenzo Savadori. A proven race winner like Dovi would be a sensational...
Scrapping with the likes of Jorge Lorenzo, who was on Aprilia at the time.
That's a bit more like it from Repsol Honda rider Pol Espargaro then.
Yeah, that's pretty encouraging at the moment for the factory Suzukis as well, isn't it? 3rd and 6th. They'll snap your hands off for those plaques.
None of them inside the top 12. Iker Lecuona, the fastest KTM rider right now, a 55.6. He's
a sapping test here a few days ago. There were 3 tumbles off the RC16 for him. He was hoping that a few ideas that have been...
a corner that can catch so many out over the course of the weekend, but that Aprilia looked like it was on rails around there. Still on that, mate. Just that one podium in MotoGP. Remember, Aleix Espargaro after, what, 179
his best result of the season, and that was only in 8th place. So there was no top 6 on the table at all for Aprilia last year. Feeling in relatively the same position, and it was all a bit of a false dawn, false hope, but at the moment, as we mentioned, so
well with that foot injury he carries into this opening round of the season. LCR bosses down with Simon in pit lane. Over to you, Simon.
Counts. It looks like it's coming good. Can you tell us what's happening inside the team?
Well, I'm compared now, and then definitely our front tire work definitely better at the moment. So of course we have done also some investigation.
Looked like Alex just went out for a time attack on soft. How's he feeling with the foot?
The foot more and more. And as you know, you've been a rider. You know when you get injured, once you are on the bike and then you focus to go. This morning he did quite good. This afternoon he did quite good with the. Didn't change any detail. We're doing good here. We're doing good.
Thank you, Lucio. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, best of luck to Lucio Cecchinello and his
wet as well, isn't it? It's hard work for anybody in MotoGP these days, but when you're the ripe old age of 42, you have to work pretty hard for your one
team, your 2 silver riders as well. There are spot prizes on offer throughout the season. Sponsored by Motul, I have to say,
yes,
into their team.
I think that's a given. Yeah, Aleix Espargaro will be giving a few headaches to a few fantasy team managers over the next. The famous blonde locks of Stewie Miller as well, back as Franco Morbidelli's mechanic. They've been together since his Mark VDS motor in the World Championship. Franco Morbidelli, 3 victories, the same amount of his teammate Fabio Quartararo, and he was the top on the same machinery as the 3 other Yamahas around him. Rather than just shrink into his shell, he was like, you know what, I'm going to show you.
Here is Miguel Oliveira, then 2-time winner, of course, in 2020. That the race will never forget in Portimao. He must be looking forward to that Grand Prix, but before then, the job is to try and pick up some speed, pick up his...
Yeah, there's the current Moto2 world champion, Enea Bastianini. He just sets his best lap of this session. He's down to a 1 on that Ducati GP19. That's a pretty impressive result by Bastianini. The rookies, of course, have been really impacted badly by the ongoing GP bike, as Alex Marquez has a bit of a wrestle with that LCR Honda coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, and based on the 5 crashes,
third of the normal testing that they would have had. Of course, it's also hampered riders like Pol Espargaro and Danilo over the first 2 or 3 Grand Prix.
Oliveira then looking to try and pick up a place, although don't go anywhere. We mentioned Oliveira with Paul Trevathan last year. He remains a part of Hervé's team as ever. No surprise there, Matt, but stepping down of chief is Danilo Petrucci. And as for Brad Binder, he teams up with Andres Madrid again, who was his crew chief in his success.
I think it was the first time I've spotted it on TV where the back of the KTM sat down like...
Devices, ride height devices, it's all now essential kit, isn't it, in the MotoGP World Championship. As we look at Valentino, Espargaro really did stretch the field out with that 53.789. Nobody at the moment has been able to get within 4/10 of the Spaniard. Chief, I believe. Of course, his #1 crew chief, Christophe Beefy Bourguignon, currently self-isolating until Beefy's back in action.
A lot to learn for the rookies, as Matt just mentioned. Luca Marini at the moment in 18th place. Fastest time set by Aleix Espargaro.
And here we go, Fabio Quartararo, soft front, soft rear tyre, brand new, and that new, and an early shot at Q2.
This is the monster. The ill fortune of the back end of 2020 behind him, and he wants to see happier days like those in Jerez and Catalonia. He's a 10th out here. There's a quarter of an hour left. Here comes Fabio. He loves a Friday. Across the line. Will he go to the top?
Over the line, he did that top spot on the factory Aprilia. Maverick Vinales, Quartararo's teammates, just crossed the line, gone up to 7th, a 54.52.
Into Q2, and then it's going to be a case of, can they hang on to the fast guys at the front, or perhaps even lead?
Sector 1, here he is now deep into Sector 2, through turn 7, the right-hander. This is where the Yamaha will work well. It's called
well in estimated P5 for the doctor, but for now...
Yeah, hasn't lost all the time, has he, in Sector 2, Fabio Quartararo. Still well up, encouraging that for Suzuki. We know that soft tyres, time attacks are not their forte. Rins third, though, with a 54.028.
Yeah, Quartararo, Vinales, Zarco, all on decent laps around turn 16 then for Fabio Quartararo. He tries to get the power down as early as possible.
And he's nearly a 10th cleared than Akhirnya Moto. A bit of a shake of the head. Did he leave some time out there? It looks like he may have done. Maverick Vinales, the top gun.
Top 10, surely the Pramac rider goes 5th, and his teammate, Jorge Martin. Shout out to the number 89. He goes in the top 10 now as well.
An astonishing lap time.
Has to be said, though, back in the day in this lower classes, Jorge Martin knew how to put one.
Needed it. He was down in 21st place for much of this session. The South African up to 14th place. Only just though in the 54s. He's going to still need
the soft rubber in.
Yeah. This is like the end of FP3. This is like a mock qualifying session, isn't it now? Tomorrow, what about the world champ? How's he getting on? Not too bad. Not too great either. 11th, mid-pack. Juan,
even beyond it to try and get themselves a place. Pol Espargaro, well, you know he's going to give it all. Here is the number 44 at the moment, just clinging on.
It did not look like this was his 5th day on that Repsol Honda, did it? Fair play to Pol. He's not holding anything back at all. Bang. In the top 10, he would have taken that, given the strength of competition and given the experience of the rivals around him. Pol Espargaro, of course, and for his qualifying, was he over the last couple of years since moving into MotoGP? This will be a big fillip for him, though.
Yeah, not really known for his qualifying, full stop.
He's straight on the wrong side of that curve. We'll stick with him though, the 63 on that bright red factory Ducati. Gained a couple of tenths.
Yeah, fantastic final sector from Pecco Bagnaia. Davide Tardozzi, pretty happy with that.
Last year he really found his spurs in qualifying as well, did Franco Morbidelli. If you look at his recent record, 3 podiums in the last 4 races.
One, of course, here in 2017, his first win in Moto2 on his way to the World Champion.
And then it's all to turn 16, where we've had so much drama in the last 2 MotoGP races, Marquez versus Davizio, so we won't get the place. He's picked up some serious speed there. That's a great lap by Morbidelli. Gets himself up into 5th, 54.013.
Miller, at the moment on screen, holds that 10th place, but we know that Mr. Miller has got something up his sleeve here.
8-0?
Yeah, I think that's
going to go on page 1 of the season.
I think that is going to go in the next few minutes.
Fair to say no.
He's got the Fausto Grassini replica helmet on, and that is exceeding track limits and nearly went horribly wrong on
follow around this Qatar circuit after his exploits in the pre-season testing, but it's this man they're all chasing at the moment. Pecco Bagnaia, remaining Ducati's solitary world champion in MotoGP. A long time ago now, back in 2007. Is it finally a dream triple crown? But they want individual glory. That's what it's all about now for the Ducati camp.
Out on a fast lap now. Savadori has managed to cling on to the tail of Jack Miller, and he's up in sector 1.
Chances here this weekend. He said he didn't want to get too carried away because there was so many disappointments last year. He says he'll be hacking the fight to everybody else at the moment, although there are 5 minutes of this session remaining and there's going to be some serious soft tyre attacks coming in very shortly.
Is in the context of the weekend, this could change the face of the result. They've seen it here, Matt. It's an afternoon session. We're expecting some wind as well. You just cannot leave it to chance.
No, it's going to be positions. You just can be a little bit more relaxed when you go to sleep on a Saturday night.
Oh dear, he's rolled out of that one. Is it because he's a toe coming? It's a long lap here though at Qatar. You can't really afford to roll out of too many. Mind you, maybe we're looking at a difference
in Q2 right now, but he's just gone through sector 1 up by exactly half a tenth. There his name is at the bottom of your screen, just popped up. Miller at the moment.
Mad, which is handy on the opening day of the 2021 season.
So back with Mir through turn 15. Back getting the power on, getting that GSX-RR hopefully to a top 10 lap time. At the moment, he's in 12th place, where just gone into 4th place. So many people said their surprise of that test session a couple of weeks ago was Pol Espargaro away from the all-time lap record here set by Marc Marquez a couple of years ago.
Yeah, good lap just behind him as well from Jay-Z. Johan Zarco has gone 1-2-3. Rossi has gone up into 6th with a 53.874.
Loving this. Crikey, we miss MotoGP. He's coming for a new soft rear tyre. Look at that, great shots here. That's the beauty of the night lights here in Qatar as well, the clear visors. Which
that is a worry for everyone, isn't it? It really is. Johan Zarco, is he finished yet? He's 3 tenths off. He's just lost a bit of time in second row
in MotoGP. So this all bodes pretty well for Suzuki.
How crazy is that? the world champion never...
And looking set for another good lap time. Here he is. We pick him up at the final corner, and now you know he's going to really turn up the wick on that Pramac Ducati when that's
on a lap. He's going to... Well, he is. He's got just to cross the line for one more, so it's now or never for Mir. Otherwise, he may well be having to go to
16th respectively. Some top riders behind that trio, though, including our last Grand Prix winner in the Premier Class, Miguel Oliveira. 15 seconds remaining. Fabio Quartararo, you know what? He might just make it. He might just squeeze into top 11 men into the 53s.
Well, he's rolled out of it, so that should be good enough. Maverick Vinales then, currently 6th. Surely he'll move up into the...
Is that what a Friday that was to kick off the 2021 MotoGP World Championship. Aleix Espargaro, surely he's done enough.
His lap will be cancelled. I'm not sure who's gone down, but Morbidelli and Bagnaia are both on course. Pol Espargaro has gone down again.
Second crash. Comes 7th, Pecco Bagnaia. It's already a factory Ducati 1-2. Will it be a role reversal though, Bang?
It's the last corner nailed. He's on course for it.
It's going to be very, very tight.
He's rolled out.
No, he's backed out of it.
Maybe because of the yellow flags for Pol.
The way you rebound and bounce back, almost an all-time lap record, just 7 thousandths of a second away. Was
behind Pol Espargaro, so that's his second crash then. It's a fast one at turn 15.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's almost, what, 140 and turn 15 for the Spanish rider.
Well, interesting stuff. Factory Ducati's 1-2. Put the jigsaw pieces together at the moment. The fastest KTM in that session, 16th.
Yeah.
For Brad Binder.
Man on the opening night here in Qatar, a 53.387.
It's looking like also the world champ.
Like was in MotoGP. There you go. It's another Ducati tops Pol Espargaro's factory Honda. He was the 4th quickest through the speed trap.
A big shout out to the rookies. This man, Jorge Martin, and now Bastian.
They are top riders. 3 big stars of the future in MotoGP. Job done though for Jack Miller.
The boys in red.
Yeah, Gigi Dall'Igna. Andrea, a completely different environment down there this year, and they're reaping the benefits straight away. Miller and Bagnaia 1st and 2nd. At turn 15, thankfully for Pol and for HRC, the last thing they need is another star rider on the injury list. He's been perfectly 9-1-4 ordinarily. That would have been good enough for Q2 in the past. Half a second off Jack Miller, yet he's 11th, not even. Just how we wanted 2021.
You just get a feeling. You get a feeling, Matt, don't you, with the races that we've seen here over the last few years.
We've ever had in Premier Class history. And 2018, the year before, was the 6th closest top 15. So we do tend...
That will be a huge confidence booster for Bagnaia. FP2 doesn't mean...
With their opening night's work, Fabio Quartararo, as he so often does, electric when he gets into time attack mode. On those last couple of laps, the Ducatis, well, they've got the speed, they've got the power to blitz the M1.
He's over a 10th up in Sector 2 as well. Will be entertainment.
Fair play to Zarco, because he had a horror show in T2 this morning. He was half a second off the pace in Sector 2. He's at first night of action in 2021. Almost a new all-time lap record from Jack Miller. Rins, Vinales, Morbidelli, Aleix Espargaro on that improving factory Aprilia. Rossi and Pol Espargaro, your top 10 for the moment by him. Not too further back were Enea Bastianini and Luca Marini. A bit of a sobering night though for KTM, as Steve mentioned. Brad Binder